Ready? Start. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 is an act of the Parliament of India enacted to protect women from domestic violence. It was brought into force by the Indian government from 26 October 2006. The Act provides for the first time in Indian law a definition of domestic violence, with this definition being broad and including not only physical violence but also other forms of violence such as emotional slash verbal, sexual and economic abuse. It is a civil law meant primarily for protection orders and not for meant to be enforced criminally. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 different from the provision of the Penal Code section 498A of the Indian Penal Code in that it provides a broader definition of domestic violence. Domestic violence is defined by Section 3 of the Act as any act, omission, or commission or conduct of the respondent shall constitute domestic violence in case it harms or injures or endangers are the health, safety, life, limb or well-being, whether mental or physical, of the aggrieved person or tends to do so, and includes causing physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal and emotional abuse, and economic abuse, or harasses, harms, injures, or endangers the aggrieved person to coerce her or any other person related to her to meet any unlawful demand for any dowry or other property or valuable security, primarily meant to provide protection to the wife or female live-in partner from domestic violence at the hands of the husband or male live-in partner or his relatives. The law also extends its protection to women living in a household such as sisters, widows, or mothers. Domestic violence under the Act includes actual abuse or the threat of abuse, whether physical, sexual, verbal, emotional, or economic. Harassment by way of unlawful dowry demands to the woman or her relatives would also be covered under this definition. The salient features of the Protection from Domestic Violence Act 2005 are as follows. The Act seeks to cover those women who are or have been in a relationship with the abuser where both parties have lived together in a shared household and are related by consanguinity, marriage, or a relationship in the nature of marriage or adoption. In addition, relationship with family members living together as a joint family are also included. Even those women who are sisters, widows, mothers, single women, or living with them are entitled to get legal protection under the proposed act. Domestic violence includes actual abuse or the threat of abuse that is physical, sexual, verbal, emotional, and economic harassment by way of unlawful dowry demands to the woman or her relatives would also be covered under this definition. One of the most important features of the Act is the woman's right to secure housing. The Act provides for the woman's right to reside in the matrimonial or shared household whether or not she has any title or rights in the household. This right is secured by a residence order which is passed by a court. These residence orders cannot be passed against anyone who is a woman. Stop.